Leuviah, the Shem angel of memory and intelligence, governs 0 to 5 degrees of Cancer. And in these videos, we go through classical Renaissance magic. And in my videos, I try to be as historically accurate as possible so that we can pull up some of this classical Renaissance magic. So we at least follow the trail about the angel through the centuries as best we can in these videos. This Shem angel is Leuviah. Leuviah governs memory and intelligence. It is spelled in Hebrew, Lamed, Vav, Vav, Yod, He, Leuviah. Although in Hebrew, the letter Vav, it could make the sound of a V, like victory. And the letter Vav could also make the sound of an oo, oo. It could also make an O sound. So the letter Vav could function as a vowel or as a consonant, like the letter V. So the letter Vav. So the Hebrew spelling of this angel is Lamed Vav Vav Yod He. And there's consensus. There's absolutely consensus throughout the writings. Agrippa, throughout Agrippa, the Divine Cabal, La Science Kabbalistique, throughout Athanasius Kircher, throughout the classical writings, what we have is Leuviah in Latin or English letters or Latin letters as Leuviah, Leuviah. So there is some consensus there. Leuviah is the way that it would be spelled. So this angel has to do with, according to Lazare Lenain, it's associated with memory and intelligence, Leuviah. So actually I messed up on a link. I do monetize much. I messed up on a link on the Art of the Kabbalah. This was written in 1517. And when we get into the Shem angel magic, a lot of times we go into this text in our Shem angel videos. So I wanted to let people know that if you wanted to read along in some of these Shem angel videos when we work with this particular text on the Art of the Kabbalah or De Arte Kabbalistica, this was published in 1517 by Johann Reuchlin. And if we flip here to page 277, so this is a modern scholarly English translation of the Latin that was published in 1517. So published in 1517 on the Shem angels. What does it say on this angel? So again, we're going to the 16th century sources on this Shem angel. What does the De Arte Kabbalistica say about this angel? It says, let's take a look here. It assigns this psalm verse. I have waited patiently for the Lord, and he's turned to me and listened. So that's what De Arte Kabbalistica says right there. It says the angel name and the psalm verse. So that's in De Arte Kabbalistica. This matches what would appear a century, and then Agrippa says that the Shem angels govern the 72 quinaries of the zodiac, or the 72... So there's 72 quinaries of the zodiac, or 5-degree sections of the zodiac. So 5 times 72 is 360, and there's 360 degrees in a circle. So for whatever reason, well, I know the logic, I know the reasons listed. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn totally changed the numbering of the Shem angels and their associations with tarot, all this modern stuff. We're talking about modern magic. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn totally changed it, where Vehuya begins in Leo instead of in Aries. I do not do that. I do practice modern magic, but I have reverted right back to the classical method, and throughout these videos, even though I practice modern magic, when I work with the Shem angels, I follow the classical approach in that regard. So, anyways, where was I going with that? But, oh yes, Agrippa. So as early as Agrippa, he said the 72 Shem angels in his 3 books of occult philosophy, he says they govern the 72 quinries of the zodiac. It would only make sense to begin it in Aries. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if we go all the way back to the 16th century sources on the Shem angels, what do we know about them? We know that they're associated with Moses in the wilderness, where he parted the Red Sea. And that's actually where you get the names of the 72 Shem angels. They're Kabbalistically extracted names of these angels, extracted from Exodus chapter 14, verses 19 through 21. Now, just like any ancient culture, there's going to be a cosmology. And so, the 72, if you look in the 5th century 3rd book of Enoch, in the 3rd book of Enoch, it actually lists 72 angels that govern the constellations and the turning of the cosmos. So these 72 angels, which of course would be the 72 quinries of the zodiac, would be later associated by Agrippa and these Renaissance magicians with the 72 Shem angels. So, long story short, according to the 16th century sources on the Shem angels, we see that Leuviah governs 0 to 5 degrees of Cancer, and the psalm verse associated is verse in the Masoretic text, verse 1 of Psalm 40. I've waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. The divine attribute. Now, today I think I'm going to elaborate a little bit about the contemplative approach to Shem angel magic, the contemplative way. Because there are different ways. There are more ceremonial ways to work with Shem angels, and then there's the contemplative way or the meditative way. And today I want to approach a little bit more about the meditative way. Now, I try not to be overly eclectic. We don't wish to mix our drinks unduly. However, that being said, it's good to use different methods and attack from as many angles in a spiritual path. And also making things interesting by changing things up. As one astute occultist has said, if I don't change it up a little bit, I may have to read the paper. So using the contemplative way, and I think it's good to use a different mixture of different ways. There's the traditional Renaissance magic way, using a scrying mirror. Now, some people use black mirrors, and that's something I may go into again, is making a scrying mirror. That's a cool little project, very simple. I don't want to veer off topic, but some people use scrying apparatus and like Renaissance magic, or people may use more of a Hermetic Order of the Golden Modern Lodge magic approach to invoke a Shem angel and communicate through a scrying stone. Now, that's the magic way. The second way is the way of contemplation, divine contemplation, as a way to work with any kind of invoked force or Shem angel. So, as with any invoked force, let's say there are 2 basic ways, really there are 3. Let's say there are 2 basic ways, actually many more, to work with any spirit or god or goddess. One way is the way to prayer. Burn some incense, have the sigil, call the name of the spirit that you're invoking at the right time, and you may do ritual posture, right? You're invoking some force, whether it be a deity or a god or an angel or whatever. You light the incense, and in the smoke, you may use a little theatrical, you're invoking the force, calling it up at the right time, you may notice phenomena and all this, and that's the way of magic. The meditative way would be to repeat the name of the deity through devotion, through mantra or a sentence. Now, like I said, I don't want to be overly eclectic here, but I'm just talking about methods and techniques. So repeating a sentence over and over, like a mantra of a deity, as has been done over the millennia in Hinduism, the mantra of a deity So I don't like to mix things too much. However, beads, I mean, are people really going to say I'm being overly eclectic for beads? These meditation beads, I find them very useful. You could chant the name of the angel 72 times. Or you could recite the Psalm verse. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more, is a little bit of a digression. Well, it doesn't have to do directly with this particular angel, but it has to do with all the angels. So today we're going to, little surprise, for you, because we're going to do this. The way to work with meditation beads with the angels is you could do 108 times or however many times in the beads. You could purchase beads, maybe you find them 72. If you want to use the number of 72, which is definitely tied to the Shem angels, which you could do, and you can do this with the Kabbalistic recitations of the names of God. Some people, hey, this is a big thing for y'all, all of you out there that make occult art and occult jewelry and occult, you know how easy it is to make these beads? Why don't y'all make some 72 beaded ones and then put the Hebrew name of God of the 72 on each one and make it into Kabbalistic beads, But what you could do if you want to do 72 is just count 72, flip them around, and then now don't mix up which way is which. Count 72 beads, flip them around, and then now you know that it's going to take 72 beads to get to this tassel here. Very simple. Count 72, turn the beads around in your hand. It takes 72 to get to here. You could chant the name of the angel. So here, a full indrawn breath, okay? It's awkward because in front of, eventually, lots of people are going to, on YouTube and stuff, watch this, because I don't have that many people on Facebook. I have a ton of people on YouTube, so a bunch of people are going to watch me. It's embarrassing, but here we go, full breath. So for example, Levia, do a full thing like that. And then move to the next beat. Leuviah, Leuviah, Leuviah. So that is a way that you could say the names of the Shem angel however many times. You can get the long, you can do them 300 times, and you could even sway back and forth, shut your eyes, burn a little incense with your meditation. Now, here's the thing. Many people report when they do this, they start to have visions. They start to have ecstatic visual communications from the angel. Many people report experiences, some people say more vivid than other methods. So I just say try it out. I say, a lot of people say believe me. I say don't believe me or believe anything. I say try it out and see what happens for yourself. Try the method. If you don't like the method, discard it. Some of you may find good results, okay? So I think we need to get out of our, I tend to come from a traditionalist camp in many ways. Sometimes we got to get out of our little box a little bit and try different methods, We still going to be using a wheel and, we still use wheels. You know what I mean. All right. So anyways, all right. So the recitation of the name of the angel. Another way to use the beads in a contemplative approach is a meditative way. Let's say you go for a walk. This is how you can make it a sacred thing with the Shem angels. You're walking with the angels and they're just showering you with blessings in your life. Now, you don't have to have a hardcore mystical approach to the Shem angels. You may want to do a little ritual, ask for something, get out. However, those of you that are hardcore, mystics, that are trying to approach this as an initiatory journey that transforms you as a person and changes every aspect of life. Let's say you want to cycle through all 72. That's what I did, is I decided to cycle through all 72 Shem angels. Now, I have hit each and every single angel. I haven't skipped any angels, I don't believe. However, have I done the hardcore, with everyone? Well, that's a digression. My work is no one else's work, okay? But this is the mystical approach to the Shem angels. But I have worked with each one. The mystical approach with the Shem angels is you could go for a walk, recite the Psalm verse. Way back into the earliest sources of the Shem angels, each one is associated with a Psalm verse. Now, some people may put less emphasis on the Psalm verse because of its Christian and Jewish undertones. I mean, it's an angel. Even it's an angel of magic, a Kabbalistic angel of magic that like grants you, things, but it's still an angel. Okay. So, but some people, they are more comfortable focusing on the verse, some less, but it's part of the lore there. But anyways, if you're comfortable reciting the Psalm verse in English or Latin so many times, I've waited patiently for the Lord, he inclined unto me and heard my cry. I have waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. There's so much there. There are qualities that maybe we want to embody as a person there. Patience. Are we having faith in life and having patience and knowing that things are going to come together? There is an element. Now, there is a stupid element of faith that's believing something that's just not true because you got your head buried in the sand. But then there's a positive element of faith in which it's like a creative, almost a type of creative, like things are going to be good. And I'm, waiting, your trust. It's a certain element of trust in nature, in the universe, okay? So, what is the divine attribute? God quick to listen. Okay, God quick to listen. Now, the divine attribute, God quick to listen. Deus festinus ad audiendum. I don't have it in front of me. Deus festinus ad audiendum is Athanasius Kircher's Oedipus Egyptiacus. That's from the 17th century, okay? So, what we looked at this Shem angel, what did Agrippa have to say? Well, it governs this 5 degrees of the zodiac. Okay, and what does De Arte Kabbalistica have to say about this Shem angel in 1517? Well, it says it's associated with this Psalm verse. Okay, let's go forward 100 years to the 17th century. In 1654, Athanasius Kircher published his Oedipus Egyptiacus. In Volume 2, he says that this Shem angel is from the thrones, the choir of thrones, which... The Christian and Jewish angelic hierarchies, there is some distinction here. Some would say that the thrones are equivalent to the Ophanim, or the wheels. But anyways, according to Athanasius Kircher's Oedipus Egyptiacus, this angel is given the divine attribute God quick to listen. Deus festinus ad audiendum. God quick to listen. And then if you look at the Psalm verse, it matches what was there a century earlier in De Arte Kabbalistica. I've waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. So there's this idea of God hearing us and being quick to listen, and also this idea of patience in the office that would not be given until, to the best of my knowledge, would not be given until centuries later in 1823. In 1823, Lazare Lenain, in the 1800s, Lazare Lenain's La Science Kabbalistique, or the science of Kabbalah, which would influence Martinus and people later, he would associate this Shem angel with memory and intelligence. I don't know. Maybe there's an earlier source for that. I don't know. I just know Lazare Lenain's La Science Kabbalistique, memory and intelligence. And most people use the office. I use the office of the angel. Even though the offices of Lazare Lenain are late, I use them and they're pretty much universally used to very good effect. Hey AJ, how are you doing today, AJ? It's great to see you here. We've been friends for many years on here. Many, many, many years. Great to see you on here. I love seeing people that we've been connected for like, over a decade. We've been doing this a long time. It's funny. Earlier, I started like this little group thing. Anyway, I don't want to go into it here on my videos, but, I've been doing group workings and stuff with y'all, and we've been through a lot, Gotten into arguments with some of y'all over the years. Not many, mostly good, But over many, 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 I've been doing these videos since 2008. I've been here on these videos since 2008. I've been on YouTube, and I don't know, it's just a little nostalgic, but you know, I've seen a lot of people here recently. I finally got up to my 5,000. I'm plugged in. I can no longer add anybody. I'm at my limit. Anyways, I'm going off on Facebook. I'm supposed to be talking about this Shem Angel. But my point is, I've been noticing a lot of people. I finally got my max there, plus I got, you know, thousands followers. Anyways, but it's just cool, you know. I see people on here that I've seen over the years, but all right. Leuviah is the Shem angel that governs 0 to 5 degrees of Cancer in the classical way. The divine attribute, God quick to listen. The psalm verse, I've waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. This psalm verse attribution agrees across the sources. And then from the Choir of Thrones. And it's just really interesting. Something interesting with this angel, I got the idea to focus a little bit more on a contemplative approach. And the idea, what about doing a Kabbalistic service? So, you know, before, I've always done this as one video. I talk about the angel, and then I do, like, we call the angel and do a little thing. I thought about doing it as a separate video, maybe have some incense and have the sigil where people can look at the sigil, okay, and focus on the sigil while I call the name of the angel or whatever. I thought about doing it that way, you know, kind of more of that kind of approach. Because if we're already praying to the angel together, why not pray to the angel with the sigil, where viewers try to focus on the sigil and sigil scry? People can sigil scry on a screen. I've done it. I've sigil scried. Sigil scrying, it's where you focus on the sigil of a spirit, and images or thoughts may come to the surface, or, you know, however people want to do it. It's just a thought. I'm going to try it out with this angel. So in this video, I talk about the angel and stuff, and then I might do like a little separate video, you know, where we've got the incense and the candlelight, and we're going to call the angel together. So I think that's actually what I'm going to do. And in doing that, these are going to be shorter videos as well, because it's taking one video, splitting it into two, and yet I can put more focus. What I end up doing is I talk about the angel and I get all my energy out. So I'm already tired at the end. I'm like, okay, let's call on the angel. You know what I mean? And wrap it. That's not the right way to approach it. I think I should make the video, quick little thing. You get the info, what you need, you're in, you're out. Separate video, if you wanted to, you can click it and we can call the angel together. So that's how we're going to approach some of this angel magic. Now, so Leuviah, like I said, is a Shem angel that governs 0 to 5 degrees of Cancer, is associated with memory and intelligence. So what I would encourage people to do if you're going to work with this angel, think of something within the office of the angel that you need. Something close to the heart. I don't recommend asking for something frivolously or without need. People often ask me, what should I ask the angel for? I always say, give the same answer, something close to your heart. What is closest? What is the most important thing that you could possibly think of? So, it's interesting. You know, I've had the stuff works, okay? I don't want people to just believe because I say so. Try it out. In my opinion, this stuff is real. It works. I've seen it. It is mind-blowing. And looking in the comments, seeing other people having an interaction. Now, does it vary by person? I don't know. I just know that I've had very interesting results. And I've used different methods over the years with the Shem angels. I've had very interesting results. You asked for something, look and see if... and how does it work? How does it work? That's a whole thing. That's a whole can of worms. Different people have different views. How do you call up an angel? You ask for something and then your life changes. And then some people are like, I don't even want to go down these all of that. But Leuviah, God quick to listen. Associated with memory and intelligence. The Psalm verse, I've waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. Governed 0 to 5 degrees of Cancer. So what I really would encourage people to do, what do you need? Not want, what do you need that requires memory and intelligence? So what does this do? Instead of jumping in, oh, this is the angel, we're calling him, I'll quickly think of something. Sometimes that's useful because when you have to think of something on the spot, often it is direct truth because without thought, boom. Okay? However, also sometimes with more deliberate thought, we can go a little deeper, okay, with introspection. I want people to really think about this, okay? What is closest to your heart? What is the most important thing in your life related to memory and intelligence? Okay, think on that, chew on that, ruminate on that is what I'm going to do and what I think that we all collectively need to do. And this is how Shem angel magic can also become self-knowledge. Because when you have 72 angels, I don't really like the term genie, even though that's what Lazare Lenain, but let's say genie, but I'd say angels. But let's say Lazare Lenain's term, you got these 72 genie that can grant you what you want. In trying to understand, well, these 72 govern all aspects of life. Well, what do I want in my life? Now you've got to think about yourself more, and that introspection, that's how Shem angel magic leads to self-knowledge. They feed into each other, and really examining what you want and what you don't want, gradually, piece by piece, you come to understand what you don't want, what you want to come out. What is most essential to you? Piece by piece, you draw closer and closer to your own center, your own core, your true essence. What do I want? That is where you go. As you go deeper and deeper through the Shem angels, and each time you learn lessons. I really want people to try doing astral projection with these angels. Okay? Astral projection could be a dangerous method just in the sense that people get lost in illusion, but as long as people keep their feet planted in reality, write down their experience, don't necessarily believe something just because you had an experience. Astral projection, cycling through these angels with the wheel of the year. Cycling through the tarot with the year, even through the deacons and all. But that's a whole other thing. But it's called rota. It's a wheel. It's a great wheel. It's the universe. Okay. So, anyways, whether we're looking at astrological phenomenon or in a world above, according to Agrippa, the divine attributes of God and the divine angels, or whether we're looking at stones or the nations of the earth or the 72 nations or tongues of the world, however you want to divide it, the 72 parts of the constitution of man, these 72 that govern all the nations of the earth, this is what these are, okay? The divine Shem angels. These, so anyways, I really want people to think about what is the most important thing. Let's just cut through all the I don't want to say, cut through all the, get to the core. What is the most important thing to me that relates to memory and intelligence? And then remember the divine attribute, God is quick to listen. And remember the Psalm verse, I've waited patiently for the, now are you waiting patiently and with faith? If you're dismissing as soon as you talk about it, well then you've already, you've cut your own nose to spite your own face. I've waited patiently for the Lord. It's also showing that we need to have a certain level of faith. We know that things are going to work out. A creative form of faith, not a blind faith, a creative active form of faith. Trust in the spiritual forces invoked. I have waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. So know that these are the divine attributes. By the way, something just to think about. According to Lazare Lenain, what are the qualities of someone born under this sign? What are the qualities of someone born under this sign? Cheerfulness, modesty, simplicity, and patience. So someone that's not overly boastful, someone that is simple and humble, modest in appearance, someone that's modest. So what you get is the idea of someone vastly intelligent in memory, but then they're humble and simple and patient. These are the qualities of someone that works with this, that's born under this influence. So I would try, if you're working with this angel, I would recommend thinking about cheerfulness. Are you being cheerful? Are you being patient? What do you think about modesty or simplicity? Now, there's good and bad forms of any quality. You could, of course, well, modesty, why would I want to do that? Well, just think of it this way. Unwarranted or unjustified boastfulness. As an example, everything has a time and a place. So what we see are 72 attributes or qualities or energies, and part of the more positive qualities associated with this particular angel, again, are modesty and humility. And so I would really recommend, if you plan to work with this angel for memory and intelligence, to also think about humility and modesty and simplicity, okay? Because like attracts like. If you want to have a powerful interaction with an angel, you want your own energies to be somewhat receptive. And also, the angels, it's just I think that they may look and see that we're working on ourselves and be more ready to help us. But that is just an opinion, and I don't want to put my opinions in my videos like that. I try to avoid that, but it slipped up. My opinion, I try to avoid smearing my videos with my worldview, but in my humble opinion, just my thoughts, I think if they see us working on character flaws, things seem to start opening up. They're road openers. They help us. Anyway, so whatever you think about these 72 spirits or angels or whatever, they're associated with the 72 quinries of the zodiac and with these 72 psalm verses, and they've been helping magicians throughout the centuries. And so that is Leuviah. And this time, I think I'm going to do it as a separate video. Nothing fancy. It'll probably just have the sigil with some incense smoke, and I'll be chanting the name, and we'll call on the angel together, I think, as a separate post. So we have that to look forward to. Probably tomorrow we'll invoke the angel. So we'll do it in a 2-section. And I've got another video coming out either later tonight or early morning or tomorrow morning. Anyways, I don't want to get ahead of myself. You're going to see this video and then something unrelated to the Shem angel. I think I'll be going into Kabbalah and tarot, kind of modern stuff. And then we'll go into like actually calling the angel and invoking it tomorrow. I try not to get ahead of myself, but that's the plan. So this is like part 1, essentially. We talked about the angel. And then really I want people to think about what is important to you that deals with memory and intelligence. Think about the qualities of modesty and simplicity and these kind of attributes, and patience. And what's the other one? Cheerfulness, yeah. Usually I don't make notes. When I do make notes, it's real obvious. Usually I just go but when you see me going like real obvious like that, that's when I make my notes. But anyway, so that's basically it, and there's more stuff gonna come. Like I said, I'm gonna go to my next video. I think it's gonna be unrelated. Then we're gonna go to this, but we'll see how it all unravels, y'all. So thank you so much, all of you commenting. Let me just take a quick look at the comments. Thank you so much, Lateriona. Lateriona, you're awesome. Thank you for commenting, AJ. And yep. More videos to come, and I will see y'all in the next video. All right. Hope everyone's doing great. See y'all in the next video, y'all.